In this video, I will be sharing with you insights and information / techniques on shadow work, the ultimate healing modality to transform your life. Hi, I'm Morgai and welcome back to my channel. I'm being called to make another video on shadow work because of its profound difference it has made in my life. To begin, I'm just going to draw a little diagram for my newbies. Let's say here's the earth and you're one of these tiny towns all the way in New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey, but you're not a person, you're Jersey. All you have ever been and experienced being was this town in Jersey. So it rains and you just think, oh, that's just Jersey and I come with it. But the rain is actually coming from somewhere in New Mexico, which just got hit by a hurricane that came from Africa. So I'm sure you kind of get what I'm saying. The whole is affecting the tiny part, even if the tiny part doesn't know it. It's the same thing that is happening in your psyche. 95% of our brain activity, including but not limited to habits, patterns, automatic body functions, creativity, emotions, personality, beliefs, and memories, are all in our unconscious, while only 5% of us is our conscious mind. So pretty much all of us is coming from the unconscious, and if we have a negative system in there, it's pretty clear that that will cause issues into our day-to-day life. So I just want to make clear you can absolutely heal and integrate these parts of yourself, and shadow work is the tool / the middleman that will get you there. It's basically going to allow you to shine the light on the dark parts and in turn making them light, which is the whole part of all of this, is to make yourself whole and come together with the dark and the light because they are both you. Mostly everyone has had some dramatic trauma or experience in childhood that has affected them in some way and may continue to play out in their adult life. Also worth mentioning is stories of discrimination and hate that is passed down from generation to generation. Depending on how good or bad the programming was or how much it has affected you and the way you perceived it and took it on will dictate the type of human you are as you grow. Memories of all of this is stored in the unconscious, and like I mentioned, by going into the unconscious using shadow work, we can transmute the energy, transforming our lives from the inside to the out. Until you make the shadow conscious, it will run your life because there is no counteract of awareness yet to undo the situation. I find the practice of shadow work to be quite intense at times, but mostly liberating. I recently had gone through a good amount of my shadow using inner child techniques and revision over the past couple of days, and I really did deal with some stuff, but majority of it, looking back, I just felt so happy, coming together with these parts of myself, remembering these memories of childhood. So I'm just going to get into that right now and how I use revision. It's how to rewrite your past using imagination to visualize and revise past events in your life as if they already happened the way that you wanted them to. By sitting down and going into the memories of the painful experiences in childhood, in my mind's eye, I'm showing up as the wiser parent figure and meeting the child in the memory. So it's two me's, but one of them is me now and that already experienced this, versus the child who doesn't know what's to come but is living this exact moment that you are holding on to. So like I mentioned, the revision and the back and forth conversation is how I did this. So you want to start off with doing the shadow work. You're going to go into the past experience and meet with your younger self. And then the back and forth kind of conversation happens. For example, something that has happened to me is when I was younger, I would think I was in love with this guy and I would go and sleep with them, right? Not that many people, but I think of a specific example of one that has caused me a lot of pain after the fact, right? Because I thought I was in love with them and, this was going to seal the deal as if I had sex with them. So since I know this now, that was not the case and I ended up going through a lot of suffering from that, I would go back to that moment beforehand And I would have the conversation with my younger self. Oh, I'm from the future. Like, this is what happens. Listen. And I would give the exact guidance that I was kind of looking for. Like, what was the whole reasoning behind why I was searching for this, searching from this love or whatever. And being that for my younger self. And basically, like, kind of stopping it before it even happened. I'm literally going back in time and rewriting my past. I think this is just super amazingly cool because no matter what has happened now, like, once again, that's just a memory and that's a story. So if you want more knowledge on this, I'll just throw some tidbits in there. Basically, because our memories are always changing. Every single time we think of a past event, it's a different situation than what really happened. None of it is happening right now. And I don't want you to think, oh, like your child abuse for like 5 years of your life of being smacked in the head by your abusive parents was something that you're making up in your mind and it's just a memory. Like, I don't want you to think that, but just realize that it is playing in your mind right now. It is a story that's in your mind right now. It's not happening in this exact experience. I really hope not, right? So in the present, you have these stories in your mind and you're like, that's exactly what happened. That's the memory. Since it's not the exact thing, it's just a story and stories can be changed. Doing this work, these memories can be let go and shifted and changed. It's super powerful. And all, holding on to the pain does nothing for you in the present moment. So to go into your mind and to bring love and to bring healing and to bring knowledge to that child before even these situations happen or how to deal with the child afterwards, either way, by doing this, you're shifting your timeline and you're setting yourself free so that you can live in peace in the present moment. There's 3 aspects of shadow work that I have practiced and continue to use, and I'm going to just share those 3 of them now. Number 1 is the hoponopono, which was created by Dr. Hugh Len. The first time I did it, it was extremely beautiful. The meditation that I will leave in the description is where I recommend you first start, especially if you've never done shadow work. It's just the perfect little introduction, but also so powerful in healing in itself. Hoponopono technique is using 4 phrases: I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, and thank you. These 4 phrases were used to heal an entire mental asylum. Dr. Hulam never even interacted with the patients. He would use the 4 phrases to the pictures and to their work and the scriptures of the what was written about them, and he would do the healing through that. Ended up transforming the energy and healing the people in the mental asylum. So, don't knock it till you try it. That might sound like, wait, what? Is that true? Well, it's Dr. Hugh Len's story, right? And he's extremely successful with all this work. And from my experience, Hoponopono is super, super powerful, and it's so easy to do. You could use it on anyone or anything because it's all part of consciousness, and that's kind of what he was doing. If he was seeing those patients as whole and complete and using these mantras towards them, that would in turn shift them because they're all connected as one. In the meditation that I'm going to put in the description and what I really use this for, because I didn't use it on anyone else except me, my inner child, you'll see he'll take you through different scenarios and different interactions with the child. You'll slowly and gradually try to get the child to open up and trust you. And it's extremely profound, especially if you never acknowledge the child in you. This will literally change your entire look on life because it's like all these years there's a child inside you that has held all of your crap, all of your sadness, all your depression, all the darkness, and you just letting it sit there and it's not being acknowledged. And of course it's sad. Of course you're sad now because think about it. It's like if you don't take care of your child, what's going to happen? Dr. Hewlin also talks about how the child is your best business partner. If you heal the relationship between the child and the parent, and the child will actually do the inner clearing. It will let go of those memories for you once it's on your team. The whole thing is about getting the child to be on the same side of you as a partner, which is only due through love and acknowledging and taking care of this being. Hey, here's my photo inspired by Alex Gray art. Anyways, if you guys like what you're hearing, please don't forget to subscribe and like this video and help me get this channel moving. I would love to continue doing this work, and I can only do that with you guys. So yeah, back to the video. All right, so the second aspect I want to talk about is somatic body work. And it's kind of similar to what I have touched on in my previous shadow work video, the taboo shadow work technique, where it was about getting in touch with the feelings and sensations of your body and getting off on them. If you want an instant shift, when I'm telling you, like, this is the way to go watch that video for a really extended version where I walk you through the technique and this where I learned all of this. To sum it up, the negative situations that keep on recurring in our life are coming up because we secretly enjoy and like them, no matter how dark, twisted, or sadistic they are. Why? Because we are experiencing them. Now, just try to keep your mind open to this idea, because I'm sure some people will be like, oh, something out there, right? Something out there in the external is causing this in here. Just keep an open mind here, because we are experiencing them. If we can bring up the situation and fully allow all those feelings and all those sensations in our body to come through without suppressing and denying them, and completely feel them in a neutral manner, looking at them in a neutral manner and getting pleasure from them, this will in turn transform them. This will make you shift all of this. It's basically acknowledging the negative, but seeing it as a part of you. And when you do this, you can become whole. I'm telling you, this is how you heal seriously super fast. Like when I made this video because I noticed shifts so quickly in it. And it's just such an unheard of idea to get off on negative things, but it works. It really does. So once again, because of the acceptance of the bad, the wholeness of who you are is coming together. So go check out that video if you want more on that, but I just wanted to add that in there, as well as going back to somatic body work. I use this whenever I have a stuck emotion in my body, or I feel a certain way, super stressed, or I can't put my hands on it. I can't wrap my arm around it. I'm like, what is this feeling? Like I need it to go, but then it's like, okay, hold on. Let's feel through it. Now, my favorite somatic body work techniques are ecstatic dancing, EBT tapping, breath work, and Qigong. Qigong's fire, but Qigong's really good. But yeah, and I also wanted to throw in a handstand. Like, go do a handstand when your legs are, up against the wall. If you have a stuck emotion that needs to come through, and just hold. And allow it to come through. And you'll start maybe crying or shaking. But you'll come down after, be like, oh, thank you. I'm, in control. I'm here. I'm in my body. So, yeah, somatic practices are all about getting in touch with your body and, really feeling safe and grounded within, and that will just take you the extra mile. That is the practice of the practice. When I'm grounded in my body, I am literally unstoppable. I'm super confident. I am I could take on anything. I'm not scared. I'm grounded in my womb. I'm grounded in my heart space. That is the life changing. So yeah, all those practices definitely get you there, and I love them. And now the last shadow work technique. Hold on. Okay, the last shadow work technique that I want to touch on is the inner dialogue conversation. Now, when you search up shadow work on YouTube, this is what's going to come up. It's going to talk about a conversation having back and forth with yourself. But my way of doing it is completely different, and I've never seen anybody do this. I have never found a more profound difference. I know I keep saying that, but I'm serious. I have never found a more profound difference when I started writing with my non-dom and dominant hand through conversation. See, I found this technique in a book called Recovery of Your Inner Child by Lucia Cappuccino. By Lucia Cappuccino. That's not how you say her last name. Oh my God. PhD. Cappuccino. I can't do it. I'll put it on the screen. This book shifted and changed a lot for me, and I'll most likely do a video on it, just sharing the inner child drawings and profound, amazing conversations that I've had with my inner child. In the book, she takes you through different archetypes with the inner parent, the 3 different ones, the protector, the critical, and the nurturing, and then different aspects of the child, the angry child, the vulnerable child. And each exercise is so so well done and also so transformative, and has helped me just literally find parts of myself that I forgot about. And it's just like, wow, I really am so sorry for not acknowledging you. But the whole basic dialogue that I'm talking about today of the back and forth hand is going throughout the book, and you'll have a conversation with your inner child using your non-dom. So the non-dom is the inner child, and the child writes in the non-dom hand will be messy, it will be simple, it will be very straightforward writing, just like a child would write. And then you now will write in this hand, in your dominant hand. These are mine, but whichever the hand that you don't write with is the inner child, and the hand that you do is you now. And by doing this conversation, you really get to the truth about yourself, and also uncovering and discovering things that you have suppressed. And once again, how can you love this child? It's really about loving this child and being there and getting the real answers. The child will tell you. The child will let you know how it feels. And if you listen, if you actually sit down, acknowledge the child and listen to the child and say, like, yes, like, I will do that for you. Yes, okay, we will go and do this week because I know that will make you feel really loved and happy. You are literally going to be a new person, I'm telling you. And just overall, a loving being, which is like, what are we working for here? Let's be real. We're working towards love and consciousness. So that's just my little spiel on that. I also wanted to add, in the book, she gives the science about why this works. There's always the science side. I'm a little ethereal. I don't really care about the science. I'm like, if it works, it works. I read, of course, it, but I'm like, when I leave these conversations in awe and in tears and in crying, and I'm just like feeling releases, I'm just like, okay, it works, like, go for it. But if you're skeptical, of course, and interested, check out that book. I'll leave it in my description. But yeah, she has the science on why it works, and it has to do with the right and left hemispheres and all that. So it's super great, and I really recommend. I wanted to add really quickly before I move on, the dialogue doesn't have to just be done between you and the inner child. I have used this type of back and forth writing through talking to spirit, past lives, and also me at any age. It doesn't have to be just a little child. I have talked to my teenage self, me as a young adult. Of course, it's all like my inner child, it's my past self, but I just wanted to add that. Like, it's a really cool technique, and especially if you're tapped in, you want to get messages, start receiving messages and stuff from guidance. It's cool. It's cool. So I just wanted to add that. And now, before I go, I just want to give a quick story time about what happens when you don't acknowledge your shadow, okay? This is a little story time, all right? Around 2.5 years ago, I was in the beginning, I think maybe like a year in, of my spiritual journey. I was very much unaware of a lot of things and unknowledgeable at this time. It was basically the woo beginning. I was a consistent meditator. I've had a few mystical experiences, but I was still really unaware, and especially so unaware of the shadow, like I'm bringing up now. Not saying I'm a sage now, though. Just putting that out there. I mean, you take what you take from this video, but yeah. So me at this time, I thought I was healed. Like, I thought my past self was completely gone. I had a few mystical experiences, like I said, and I was really into, like, positive, like, positive spirituality, like the, I am good, I am love, I am okay, which all of those are great. I love affirmations, but, like, when a girl's got a shadow this massive and you're just like, I'm spiritual now, like, I'm spiritual, like, this is how I am. I kind of created another identity around that. And yeah, well, it didn't last long, because I also just wanted to mention, I've done some shadow work this time. I just I didn't know what it was. Like, I was kind of just doing it because I saw it on the internet, and I didn't stay consistent with it. Plus, like, I had to do a lot of things after that to be able to tap into my, like, deep healing era, because I had a lot of stuff to go through, which I'm going to mention in a second. So like I said, I had no idea really what a shadow was until I encountered it. One day I took mushrooms, and it was like, during this time I was like kind of taking mushrooms, like, not like often, like every couple of months I would have a little trip. And this was my first really bad trip. That honestly I think it was like my only bad trip. I've had bad trips on marijuana, but this was like an extremely bad mushroom trip that I had. So basically the morning I woke up and I went outside and I started reading my Course in Miracles. I was prepping my mind because I wanted a trip. Like, I had this, like, plan to trip. But that entire week, I was extremely depressed. But once again, I wasn't acknowledging my depression because, like, how can I be depressed? Like, I mean, I'm healed. Like, that's the old me. I'm the new me. That's the old, I'm the new. Yeah. So I went outside, read my Course in Miracles, prepping my mind, come back in, I'm ready. I'm like, let's take a trip. So I take my mushrooms, I go and sit on my couch, and as the trip's coming on, I'm laughing. I'm like, this is the signs of all the great trips, because whenever I'm, like, laughing, I'm like, I'm thriving. So I start laughing, and then I go and I eat my breakfast, and I remember I had some, like, I was, like, having some eating disorder, like, healing moments where I was laughing, because I'm like, how can I be scared of food, right? Anyways, I stand up, and I'm, like, in this, like, blanket thing, and I start, like, singing, like, like, yeah, Here Comes the Bride, right? Whatever. I'm on shrooms. And then I look at the door, and basically, like, it looks like it's closing in on me. And in that moment, a dark shadow came into my experience. I literally collapsed backwards onto my bed, and I laid on my bed for the next 5 hours, scared out of my fucking mind, getting hit and plummeted with the depression, all the years of depression, and suicidal ideations, like, nonstop. Like, I really thought I was gonna, call it quits that day. No joke. I was so fucking scared that I would do something because I felt so out of control of myself. I didn't think I was in control of my body, and I thought something was gonna happen. My mind was gonna twist me and make me, like, kill myself. Like, I really did think that. So I was so frightened, and I was laying on that bed for 5 hours, literally just in hell, like, crying but scared off my mind, and then fucking, like, praying. So then after this trip, I was scarred. I was fucking scarred. And it took me a really long time to integrate it. Like, I really couldn't figure it out until after that trip. I was extremely depressed at that point. I was like, oh shit, we're facing this, I guess. And it was coming up really hardcore. So after months of, like, realizing, like, if this was the depression that was underneath there, that was the depression that you've experienced since 7th grade, all through high school, all through childhood, like, it doesn't just go away just because you had a few mystical experiences, which I realized, right? But during this time, it was very dark for me, but I was also self-medicating with marijuana each day. So every time I would feel depressed, I would go and smoke. So I wasn't able to fully do it, but I was still doing deep work. I was just addicted to weed, so I couldn't stop. And it was, like, getting in the way. But a few, about a year or something goes by after this experience, and weed started to really ruin my life, and I was having better experiences while I was sober than I was high. So I had to let go of weed, and it was extremely hard to do. And while I was withdrawing from the weed and those first few weeks of getting sober, it was like the depression came, up, and there was no escape. There was no way for me to go and smoke and feel better in 2 seconds. No, I had to sit there. I had to sit there through the suicidal ideations and all the shit that came up and all the loneliness and all the freaking hardness, and then it would pass. I dealt with that for a few days. And then now, since I've been sober for a little bit over a month now, a few days over a month, not much, I just have to say, and like I said, I've been doing healing work all through these past 3 years, even before I was doing this mushroom trip. So it's not like this is like me getting sober as the beginning of my healing journey. No, I've been on the healing journey. It's just I had to shed that for me to keep on evolving. So then once that kind of shedded, and I've been sober now for the longest I've ever been, for 3 years straight, I feel like mentally I'm just so much better, and I have not dealt with depression. And even it comes up every once in a while, but it's so short-lived. It's maybe 5-10 minutes. I have the conversation with myself. I do some inner talking, figuring out where it's coming from. And if it was really bad and I had to rest that day, I would. It's just a new, I guess, perspective on looking at it. But really getting sober and shedding that was so helpful, because then I could evolve with my healing and keep on moving forward. But yeah, I just wanted to add that little story in there because, yeah, it's going to come through either way, right? It's going to come through either way. So yeah, that's my little spiel on shadow work. I'm the shadow, and also just a little bit more connecting with me. Well, if you stuck around, I'm glad that you did. Don't forget to subscribe once again. Like, let's do the dang thing. I'm about to start traveling soon, so it's going to be vlog city, and that's when I think I'm going to really, like, tap into my inner, like, let's speak on the camera type of energy. So stay tuned for that. But I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully this helped you out, and I'm going to put all the stuff in the description so you can find it effortlessly and easily. Comment below. Let's talk a little bit. Let's chat a little bit, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.